Hello, everybody, and welcome to
Hello.
the house
Hello.
in Fata Morgana.
Hello.
I'm sipping on some cream soda.
Oh,
And that's
Ooh,
how
how
I got the
creamy.
key to the city.
Cream.
The
Cream.
I'm sipping
cream.
on some scissor.
I forget what cream soda tastes like.
I have a drink
Cream.
because work was a
Let me
thing today.
Let me point. The cream.
Point.
Cream
I
raisins.
did
Oh.
manage to successfully shove all of my work problems off onto someone else.
There
So
we
Love
go.
to see
You
it.
love to see, yeah. That's the optimal strategy, really. So yes, as I'm sure some people are aware, aka the people that bothered to go to the Silent Hill stream, I said very clearly that no matter what, we were going to be doing Fada. As it turns out, that does continue to be the case, because regrettably, Khan is still aggressively ill.
Oh shit. Well,
Yeah,
RIP.
like yeah, she is sick as fuck today.
I feel like we should do that for
Not in a
either-
good way.
I feel like we should probably do this for either every other Fada stream if somebody
Mhm.
can't make it, or just for every
So,
single
Bone,
Fada
you're
stream.
understudy. You're going to be understudy Morgana.
That is a
Fuck
lie. That is an abject lie.
Yeah, it's an
I
abject
think-
lie because I'll be taking up.
No, B becomes understudy Morgana because
hey, guys.
because their other character's just fucking gone now.
Oh boy, I sure love
Oh yeah, I guess she is.
I'm Morgana. I like
Oh
it.
man,
man.
Leave Jiren to me.
Morgana, I love God.
I hate. Wow, I want this nice old Jiren. I wonder if they're gonna get eliminated at the Tournament of Power.
God,
I
I
love
hate
God,
all of
and I
you.
sure
Please
love
shut the
God.
fuck up.
You don't understand. You don't need to.
Goku.
You don't need to act like you hate the world. You just act like the world hates you, and very few people are capable of that.
Listen, the world ends with you. That's the point of the story. Hello, Kitten Vale. Wow, you're coming in at a really
yeah.
at a really random time in the story.
Very random.
Also, yeah. Let's say, man, I can't. It's like most stories. The universe is cold and indifferent. Fata Morgana. The universe isn't cold and indifferent. It's cold, but it specifically hates you.
Yeah, you
You in
random child in
particular.
the,
You in
the
particular.
the 1000 era.
Morgana is the arbiter of the universe, and she hates, like, these three people specifically. Two of them just happen to get caught up in the crossfire.
And one deserves it, and we know why.
A couple of them definitely
At least-
really do deserve it. I
At
wouldn't
least
just
two
say it's one
deserve
of them.
it.
Yeah.
At least two, yeah.
You can argue for,
Although-
like, you can argue for one of them, but two definitely deserved it.
I will say one was working on it before it happened.
But,
One was like, oh, God.
but really quickly...
One was forced into it.
So yes, we're going to be having a series of interludes before we get to the proper second half of the story, in which
I see.
I'm functionally overwritten by Noir altogether.
What did
Understandably.
Noir
so.
do?
Oh no, it's just
Speaking
that Noir is taking his rightful place as Lord Jacopo.
Noir is the
Yeah,
DM of the
yeah.
D&D campaign now.
Speaking of speaking of interludes, Justin will be taking this first one. Khan was supposed to take the second one, and I don't technically want to do it. And then Randy will be taking the third one. So
How about you do it?
Well,
Well,
Actually, you know what?
Honest time until the next interlude.
You know
then
what?
to get
Hold
better.
on, wait a second. Give me a second.
Oh my god, I
Uh,
can do it. It's
No,
fine.
no. You got the first one. Noir, what is your best like housewife voice?
What age group?
Give me a line.
what age?
give me Natsuhi adjacent. Go.
Oh, a line. I thought he said give me a wine.
Yeah, give her the
Also
wine!
works.
Give the
Oh
woman
dear.
the
It seems
wine
that I have
so she can be
misplaced a
catty.
fine jar of preserves, and now I'll have to head back to the store and get some more.
Good enough. You're
Children
hired.
were
Okay,
really
let's get
looking
the show on the
forward
road.
to it.
There you
Damn,
go.
you've been
Belts on my
wine-
child's face.
Beautiful.
You've been
All right.
wine
The
noir.
switch. The
I'm
switch is
glad.
sleeping. We're waking it up.
Damn, your switches are
All
sweet.
right. Anyways, come on. Let's get to it.
Recollections of an outlaw.
You're in the mood for something juicy, you say? Hate to break it to you, chum, but I ain't made of dough. I'd like a nice slab of meat as much as the next bloke, but I'm barely making do as is. We are all, in case you hadn't noticed. What? You're not hungry? You just want a juicy story to go with your drink? Then why don't you just say that to begin with? Give me a sec. I think I'll go one you like. A few months back, me and a bunch of other blokes went on a raid at this puny little village. They didn't do much trade, just living off what they could grow, so no one figured we'd make out with much. Grab a little grub, plow some of the girls, that was the best anyone was hoping for. Business as usual. We killed the guys, had some fun with the girls, then killed them too. Nothing too interesting, nothing real exciting up to that point. But that changed when I busted into this one house. There's a man, a woman, and a little girl, maybe 5 years old. No siblings, just the girl. No small family for a village like that. Dad comes up at me to protect the girl, then Ma tries to block me away. No surprise here, I killed them both. Couple unarmed farmers, easy as snapping a baby's neck. That left the kid. Wasn't she like she could do nothing, so I didn't have to kill her. But you know how this stupid thing gets crying like it's the end of the bloody world. So I figure I'll run her through before she starts howling on me, right? But get this. Kid smiled at me and said, "Where you from, mister?" Couldn't believe me ears. Girl, your parents were just killed. By me. And I'm coming to kill you next. How the hell are you smiling? And how the hell are those the first words out of your tiny little mouth? Creep me out, truth be told. So much so I lost all interest in killing her. So I dug around for anything worth taking, and then went on my way. But this damn kid, I tried to leave, and guess what? She fucking follows me. Doesn't want revenge or nothing, just smiling like a fool. I'm a patient bloke. With this was beyond the pale. I yelled at the stupid thing. "What the hell are you following me for? Piss off!" And she gives me this confused look and says, "I'm bored. Everyone else stopped moving, so I have nothing else to do. But you're still moving, mister." My damn head was spinning. She was maybe 5, yeah? I can understand her being a little stupid, but she should have known right from wrong, enough to know him to be scared of me. You'd have to be out of your mind to come trotting after the bastards off your parents. And I'm pretty sure that's exactly what her problem was. She wasn't right in the head. I tried to get her to piss off, but she wasn't hearing it. Now the guys started talking. Maybe we should just neck her, right? Then one guy says with a big smile, "Let's say we take bets on what it'd take to make the kid cry." So we did just that. We started placing bets. Give her a good yell and she'll cry. Knock her around some, that'll do it. I say you ain't got a tooth or two. Rip off her nails one by one. And finally, plow her till she breaks. We went round and did everything we could to think of our absolute worst. Not like we ever pretended to be good people, but it ain't every day you see a bunch of grown men taking turns knocking the hell out of a 5-year-old girl. And hell, that by itself's a good drinking story if I ever heard one. But it keeps going. She never cried. No matter what we did. Not once. She would groan and twist her face when we hit her, so she did feel pain. But even that was only for a second. After that she'd be back to smiling like an idiot. Tell you the truth, she seriously creeped me the fuck out. I wanted to just end it there and forget all about her. But the rest of the guys, they took a liking to her. Wanted to bring her back with us. I tried to talk him out of it, but one guy says, "Oh, it's the big deal. Ain't like we're adopting her. We'll have some fun, and when we get bored, she's gone." And it's pretty damn hard to argue against that. If I kept fighting it, I'd look like I was trying to be the good guy or something. And so now we've got this kid in the crew. First month or so she's with us, everyone's treating her like she's their plaything. But after a little bit, that starts to change. I start being kinda nice to her. Giving her extra food, letting her join in on the conversations, that sort of thing. She still creeped me out, sure, the way she never stopped smiling. But she wasn't ugly or nothing. Could be kinda cute, even. Once she started talking with us more, I realized something. None of us knew the damn kid's name. So I asked her, and get this. She says, "I'm me." Dead fucking serious. Now, like I've been saying, the girl's always never made much sense. But this was on a whole nother level. So I press her, "No, what's your name?" But she just tilts her head and says the same thing. "I'm me." "So you're saying your name is me?" I ask, and she gives me this big fat grin and nods her head. Who the hell names their kid me? Her parents seem like reasonable enough folks. They at least care enough to try and protect her from me. They just ran out of ideas trying to come up with a name for her or what? As I'm thinking to myself, I see there's something sewn at the bottom of her shirt. Looked like writing, but I can't read for shite, so I call over the only educated guy in the crew and have him look at it. Turns out it was a name. Jaren. Your name ain't me. It's Jaren, I say. And she lights up like a fucking village we just got through with. Really? My name's Jaren? I never knew! That was the biggest sigh of my life. And I say to her, you're the dumbest broad I ever known. About a month after we picked the girl up, we had a bit of trouble. There's this chubby bloke by the name of Marcos, and he starts getting this thing for her, yeah? I ain't one to get in the guy about what gets his rocks off, but 5-year-old girl, that just ain't right. Marcos is kinda slow in the head. I was the back of the pack and mostly useless when we went on our jobs. The only reason we kept him around is because he made a good pack mule. He was annoying as all hell besides, always saluting and saying, aye aye, like we were a bunch of pirates or something. And he called everyone boss, because apparently that was the only form of respect he knew. Day after day of, aye aye, boss, and I'm on it, boss, and then we massage your back, boss. We'll have to drive a man mad. And because he was the first one to talk to her, Jaren started imitating him. So now we got 2 buffoons running around talking like that. Obnoxious it was, though. At the end of the day, that's all it was. But that changed when Marco started getting real fond of the girl. Every little thing we did, he'd go around telling us to be nicer to her, yeah? But as far as we saw it, compared to when we first took her in, we were treating her pretty damn well. Of course, that's all relative. The proper slave probably still gets less hell from her than their masters, and we give the girl. But remember, we only brought her along so we could have fun. I never intended to make her part of the crew. But Marcos wasn't having any of it. Son of a bitch actually snapped at us! You'll pay if you don't stop right now, boss! And he wanted to fight, so we gave him a fight. The whole lot of us beat the ever-loving hell out of him, stomped his face in so bad he couldn't even recognize the poor bastard anymore. But that wasn't enough for him. His face a big bloody mess. Marcos said, I won't let you lay your finger on Jaren, boss. Tell you the truth, I didn't think he had the sack. Then Jaren comes trotting in. She heard the ruckus and wanted to see what was up. Marco's eyes went wide and he yelled, Stay back! But the girl, she just stood there. Same little stupid smile on her face. Seeing her come in, one of the guys up smirks, plops his ass down on Marco's back, and holds a knife up against his neck and says, Hey Jan, you like Marcos, right? With a big grin she answers, Aye, boss. The swollen bruise that messed his face was he could just barely make out Marcos smiling. Next the guy on his back says, Then would it make you sad if we roughed him up a bit more? What do you mean, rough him up? Cut off his fingers, scoop out his eyes, you know, have a little fun. Fun is fun, why would that make me sad? You hear that? I'm making this up. The girl's still standing there smiling. And Marcos, he goes pale as a ghost. And he did it. He cut off his fingers. Jaren's still smiling. He gouged out his eyes. Still smiling. And finally, he split Marco's throat. Even as the blood sprayed right into her face, she never once stopped smiling. Just before he kicked off, Marcos looked like he was thrown into the fucking deepest, darkest pits of despair. I've seen the hope train there from God knows how many men's eyes, but that was on a whole nother level. And you can imagine I wasn't the only one Jaren creeped out anymore. Everyone felt the same way. She was so messed up, we all thought we might start turning into her if we kept her around any longer. So the next city we landed in, we saw Jaren off. And we all lived happily ever after, minus one twisted little girl. What do you think? Juicy enough for you? You feel sick? Sorry about that, chum. I thought you had stronger stomach. I do wonder what Jaren's up to these days. She's still smelling like an idiot, or, Recollection of a vassal's wife.
Good day to you too, sir. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Yes, that's correct. This is where our slaves were when they were stolen, as I described when I reported it. What? The number of stolen slaves I gave you doesn't match the number you heard from other sources. Ah. No, I had no intention of deceiving you. I simply assumed it wouldn't be a problem because I wasn't claiming we lost more than we did. Yes, I understand. I beg your pardon. I should have reported the number correctly. I will do so in the future, so please, if you would look the other way just this once. Why did I report fewer slaves were stolen? I imagine you would find that curious, yes. Why would anyone want less of their lost manpower returned to them, indeed? It's quite simple. I did not think it would be any great loss if she were to not come back. Oh no, she was a fine worker. And she didn't cause any trouble either. You want to know about the girl? I doubt it will be of any help to your investigation, but I don't mind telling you. I doubt it. I warn you, it's not a terribly pleasant story, though. Very well, as you wish, sir. We purchased her when she was about 5 years old, so she'd been with us for some time. 8, maybe 9 years now. When we bought her, she was still too young to put to work. She was in good health, though, and always had the sweetest smile on her face, so I had little doubt she would do as she was told. Slaves tend to be so glooming and depressing, you know. Not that I don't understand, but unlike many, we try not to mistreat our slaves. As long as they do their work, they have nothing to worry about. The best slaves, I think, are the ones who aren't so dreary as to be infectious and make us feel guilty. The girl's name was Jiren, and while she talked rather funny, she was as bright and cheerful as I had hoped. And she was always smiling from ear to ear. For a while, it felt like we had a brand new member of our family. I was so taken with her, I almost considered adopting her instead of keeping her as a slave. And how did I go from wanting to take her in to not caring if she didn't come back? Oh, it's rather difficult to explain, to tell you the truth. Yes, that's right. She never caused any trouble. She never stole anything, and she never refused to work. She never cried, and she never got upset no matter what happened. She always did her work with a smile on her face. That sounds like the ideal slave. Yes, you would think so. And I have no complaints regarding her work. Neither did my husband nor our servants. I imagine I'm the only one who would be happy to never see her again. I started thinking the girl peculiar about 2 years after we purchased her. Right around that time, one of our other slaves attempted to run away. Yes, that's right. As I said, we have never once mistreated our slaves. Other slave owners could learn a thing or two from us, I say. We tell all our slaves when we buy them that they will be set free as soon as they've worked enough to pay back what we paid for them. So he had only 10 years, and then he would have been free. But he chose to spit in the face of our generosity and... My apologies, I've gotten off track, haven't I? The slave who ran was captured soon after. But trying to flee is one of the greatest transgressions a slave can commit against his master. As such, it was, as I'm sure you understand, necessary to punish him. But I assure you, we never mistreat... Yes, I'm sorry, I'll continue. So as I said, he had to be punished. My husband took a length of rope and used it as a whip, I think it's called. He had all of the slaves watch as he lashed the one that had tried to run. It was for their own sake. The other slaves needed to see what would happen if they attempted to flee. The lashing continued for a full day. All the slaves present reacted differently. Some averted their eyes, some cried, some looked on trembling, but it was clear they were very afraid, which meant the punishment had served its purpose. For everyone, except Jiren, that is. Yes, that's correct. She simply smiled. At first I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. But every time I looked over at her, I saw the same thing. As the slave being lashed screamed out in pain, Jiren didn't even flinch. She just stood there, smiling. Just looking at her gave me the chills. My husband thought it curious as well, but he wasn't nearly as put off as me. She was 7 at the time and a hard worker, and he said there was no issue as long as she didn't cause any trouble. But that completely misses the point, you know. She gives me the creeps. I wasn't comfortable with her around. But of course my husband has the final say. I couldn't defy him. So I did my best to forget that day. I couldn't get the girl out of my mind, though, no matter how hard I tried. My gaze was drawn to Jiren, and I noticed quite a bit as I observed her more carefully. Say one of the slaves hurts himself while working. You might expect another slave to ask if he's all right, to help patch up the wound, to volunteer to take on his responsibilities for the day, to show concern and compassion. But Jiren, she would just smile and go on her way, not a word. She was hardly perfect either, is anyone though, and she would make mistakes occasionally. Everyone slips up, and we try not to make a huge fuss about it because we sincerely value our slaves and the work they... My apologies. In any case, we can't simply brush such mistakes off, so we make sure to admonish them whenever something happens to ensure things run smoothly. Even as I scold her, Jiren's still smiling. As I'm sure you can imagine, it's hard not to feel as though you're being disrespected. So once I lost my temper, and I smacked her. It was only the once, though, I swear. I'm not a violent woman. I hate raising my hand to anyone. I was sure that if nothing else, it would make her cry. But still she smiled, with half her face red and swollen. I was so perplexed I came straight out and asked her, why do you not cry? I just hit you. How can you keep smiling? And she said, she said, why would I cry? I'm not sad about anything. Pressing the issue further, I discovered she had evidently never felt bad for anyone in her life, including herself. Can you imagine? How terrible is that? It's not right. So I decided I needed to teach her how she was supposed to act. I taught her that when she saw someone get hurt, she needed to show sympathy. That when she was being reprimanded, she needed to show remorse and a desire to improve. Jiren listened carefully to every word I said, and before long she started At first I was relieved. Jiren was finally a regular girl. She showed concern, compassion, regret. But it was all an act. She acted sad when someone got hurt, and then she turned around and was smiling again. It never lasted more than a few moments. Emotions were but a flash, there then gone before you realized. It wasn't normal. Wasn't human. She didn't genuinely feel sympathy. Beyond the surface, she was no different than the girl who smiled as a fellow slave was being whipped before her eyes. Jiren had learned nothing. Unable to bear it anymore, I went to my husband again. I told him she wasn't normal. There was something wrong with her. I implored him to do something. But my pleas fell on deaf ears. She was a good worker, he said. We couldn't ask for a better slave, he said. Oh, but he couldn't have been any more wrong. He wasn't the one who had to look after her. He had no idea what she was like, how unsettling it was merely being in her presence, how deeply unsettling it was. My apologies. I'm fine now. As you can imagine, I'm not particularly fond of Jiren. So it was a weight off my shoulders when I heard she was one of the stolen slaves. Why are you giving me that look? You think I'm the one who has the problem? You think there's nothing wrong with her, just like my husband? One look at her smile, and you'd know. I'm telling the truth, that she's not simply a little eccentric, that there's more to it than that. I can't take it anymore. Is there no one who will understand me?
Take it back for a bit, why don't you? I'm in the mood to talk. Nah, I'm not gonna charge extra. I don't bill by the hour. Oh, you never thought of me the talkative girl? I guess that just goes to show how much I've taken to you. No, I'm not trying to butter you up, I swear. I've been thinking a lot these days about the place I last worked at. It's really been getting me down. I can't think of anyone I want with me at times like this, more than you. Did something happen there? Heh, I've been waiting for that question. It's a bit of a long story, I hope you don't mind. There's a city about 10 days by carriage from here. You know the one, right at Lord Bonier's doorstep? The place I used to work was there, and every so often the Lord would summon a few of the prettiest girls to come to his manor. I'm hardly the best looking girl around, even out here, so I was never one of the chosen. But honestly, I'm lucky for it. It's not the kind of thing you want to go mentioning in public, but the Lord has some, unsavory hobbies. Every girl who ever came back said, "There's no amount of money you can pay me to do that again." Word is, the Lord has a taste for torturing and killing his slaves. Not just if you screw up either. If he's in the mood and he so much as sees you, you could be dead. He's got a dungeon out of his manor too, they say. You can hear wailing coming from down there at all times of the day. The Lord enjoys all different kinds of torture. Flaying, dismemberment, boiling, the water cure. I'm sure he uses others, but I've only heard bits and pieces secondhand. He only ever killed the slaves though. The girls all came back in one piece. On the outside, at least. Being forced to watch people get brutally murdered did a real number on most of them. Some were so broken by the experience they couldn't work anymore. So the Lord, apparently, he hosts banquets at his manor every so often. But here's the kicker, he only invites nobles that are into the same sort of thing. He's not the only one. We're being governed by God knows how many twisted freaks. I don't even want to think about it. Anyway, something like 2 years ago, I think it was. A couple girls came back looking a good 20 years older. They told us about one of these banquets. Most of the time, it's just him and his noble friends searching slaves, but this one was different. There was a girl, maybe 10 years old, chained up naked on his makeshift altar. But here's where it gets crazy. The girl, who they called a saint, was covered in scars head to toe. They cut her up and filled her cups with her fresh blood. But she didn't cry. She didn't even flinch. She just sat there quietly. And when she did speak, it was to condemn them as blasphemers and sinners. Can you imagine? Chained up like that, and she's scolding her captors, telling them God will punish them for their actions. I wouldn't have the guts. Maybe she was raised at the church or something. But I'm guessing that's got something to do with why they call her a saint. Oh yeah, the Slaver Revolt was right around that time too. You hear about that? Just rumors. Well, they're not just rumors. It really happened. Because of the revolt, the girls who've been there made it out in mostly decent shape. And for a while afterwards, Laura didn't send for anyone. I'm guessing he was too preoccupied patching up the holes in his manner and finances to spend much time fooling around. Got to changing topics for a sec. But about that same time, this dark-skinned girl, the kind you don't see too often around these parts, started working here. Name was Jaren. She was pretty, always had the widest smile on her face, and real friendly. Seemed like the kind of girl who would run a lot of business. And I was right. Within a couple of weeks, she had already picked up a few regulars. And her manager was going on about how happy he was with his purchase. About a month in, though, we started getting complaints from one of her customers. He said she was being condescending with him. I brought it up with Jaren, but she said she had no idea what he was talking about. So I assumed the customer was just imagining it, or full of it. You get guys like this all the time in this business. No, don't worry. You're not one of them. But the complaints kept coming in, which made me think maybe there was something going on. So I decided to talk things out with the guys making the complaints this time, get a better picture of what the problem was. Most of them were pretty useless and vague, but the common issue seemed to be that her behavior didn't make sense. One guy came in after bungling a huge trade deal, hoping to find some comfort, and he spilled his guts to Jaren. But instead of trying to console him, she laughed. You can see why he wouldn't be thrilled about that. And I asked Jaren about it, she gave me a confused look and said, I thought he was telling a funny joke. There was no malice, nothing. She genuinely didn't understand how the customers wanted her to act. Can't run a business like this without a solid customer base, so making sure everyone lives happy is crucial to the operation. Which is probably not something I should be talking about with a customer, but, well, you're special, so cut me some slack, okay? Anyway, something had to be done about Jaren. We couldn't risk more dissatisfied customers. I figured the best thing to do was give her some more training. Here's how you should react if a client brings up such and such, and here's what you should say if they're looking depressed or upset or whatever. How and when to be reactive, and how and when to be proactive. Jen was a quick study, so it wasn't long before she was putting my lessons to work. And we weren't happy with just reducing the number of complaints to a more normal level, but Jen improved so dramatically we heard nothing but praise from then on. The pattern was looking a little blue. She'd give him a big pouty face and say, "What's the matter? You can tell me anything." "Oh no, that's terrible. I feel awful for you. Is there anything I can do to help? Anything at all?" Just this constant stream of comfort, all to the point of being excessive. She had gone from bright and energetic to sweet and sympathetic as well. On the surface, anyway. Every condolence she offered was completely fake. She was acting, and I knew because I was the one who taught her how. There was nothing wrong with that, though. We're not in the business of genuine human interaction, after all. Thinking back on it now, though, I probably should have taught her what the real thing felt like, rather than just how to fake it. About a year later, the Lord started sending for girls again. We all knew he was a madman, that was common knowledge. He paid well, and everyone always came back alive. So we reluctantly complied. But we were wrong. He did kill the girls this time. One came back alive, but she was missing an eye and half an arm. She was in no condition to go back to work. Even just going about her normal daily life would be difficult. We were aghast. But things only got worse from there. The next time the Lord sent for us, we panicked. For one, no amount of money was worth what waited at the Lord's manor. And two, it was impossible to run a business if your employees keep getting killed. So we decided to turn him away. These messages simply said, "The Lord will not take no for an answer." We either complied or we were all executed for treason. What little hope we had left crumbled. We were screwed either way. So we fought amongst ourselves, like a pack of wild animals. "I'm too ugly, you go. I have more regulars, you go. No one likes you anyway." Pure chaos. I was, of course, part of the brawl. And here's where she comes in. Jaren. Everyone's in a big mob, clawing at each other's faces off. She just steals her hand and asks, "Why are you so afraid of the Lord?" Seeing that stupid, clueless look on her face, just about everyone in the room burst a vessel. "Alright, we'll send her," we said, and it was decided. Jaren smiled, not bothered in the slightest. He gave us a cheery, "See ya later," and went on to the Lord's manor. To no one's surprise, she never came back. We figured she had been killed. A week or so later, the messenger showed up again, asking for more girls. By this point, the manager was furious. He demanded to speak with the Lord in person, saying if something wasn't done, the whole brothel would collapse. He'd put his life on the line to prevent that. Seeing as a result, so resolute, I felt a newfound respect for him. I also thought he was a complete idiot. But I still respected him. After all, there was no way the Lord would be open to negotiation. That much was obvious from everything he had done. The manager and a few assistants set off with the Lord's manor. And about 2 weeks later, he returned. Or his head did. His assistants managed to avoid that, so they were able to tell us what had happened. No one was exactly thrilled to hear more twisted tales about the Lord. But we listened anyway, and no one could have imagined what they told us. Jaren was there, with the Lord, alive and well. Not only had she not been killed, he had apparently taken quite a liking to her. The manager was surprised to see her too, but he figured it was a good chance, as he would ever get. If Jaren would speak up in his favor, the Lord might actually listen to her. So, emboldened, the manager pleaded with the Lord, begging him not to harm the girls, as he wouldn't be able to stand anyone else otherwise. And for attempting to oppose him, the Lord ordered the manager to be executed. The manager, however, entreated Jaren for help. If you have a heart, Jaren, please tell the Lord not to take my life. I have people who need me. Without hesitation, Jaren nodded, saying, You think you could maybe let him live? That seems a bit, I don't know, disrespectful for her to speak to the Lord like that, but he didn't get upset with her or anything. He really had taken a liking to her, apparently. The Lord nodded and said, I'll offer you a choice then. Jaren, you may have whichever one of the following you prefer. Either I spare this man's life, or you can have my full attention for the rest of the day. The manager and his assistants were all baffled. How was that even a good decision? How was the man's life, a man who'd employed her for more than a year no less, comparable to little attention? But they were even more baffled by Jaren's reaction. She thought about it for a second, and then, blushing, she said, I want your attention. Everyone's jaws dropped. The manager is about to burst into tears. He begged her to reconsider, to have pity. He asked her what he had ever done to wrong her. He never did me wrong, she said. Then why won't you have him spare me? I just want his attention more. And you're willing to let me die for that? What's so scary about dying, anyway? Not only did she not comprehend sorrow, she seemed to be devoid of anything resembling fear as well. Which explained why she had so much trouble sympathizing with people's suffering. Why she was always smiling, no matter how bad things got. Without her manager, the brothel went to hell. His son took over, but he didn't give a damn about any of the girls. All he cared about was if he had enough booze to keep him perpetually smashed. So, figuring I had a better chance elsewhere, I left everything behind and ran, leaving my future in fate's hands. Fate was kind to me, and I managed to make it here. They catch me in my dreams sometimes, though. I still see the faces of the poor girls we sent off to the gallows.
Huh? Uh, where am I again?
AC, the dead guy's back. It would appear that AC is having
Hello?
a phone. There you go. He's back.
I forgot that I reinstalled this thing and it doesn't have push to talk button behind it.
Okay.
Awake again, are you, whore?
Who are you, sir?
Huh. It would seem your memories have not fully recovered. Allow me to remind you how you got here, then.
No, wait. It's right on the tip of my brain. Let's see. I was at the brothel, and then I got invited to the Lord's place. I got brought into a big city. Then I was taken to the Lord's castle. The Lord called me into his room. And then you strangled me.
Indeed. Your memories return without problem.
I'm super duper good at remembering things. Wait. Why did you strangle me?
That's my theory.
Your theory of what?
And you're mad.
Mad about what?
Not that kind of mad. First of all, I never bring just one whore to my quarters. I brought you here because you piqued my personal curiosity.
You're having orgies in here every day? Wowzers, you've got some serious stamina.
Not being alone with one person reduces the chance of an assassination attempt.
That makes sense. It's pretty tough being the Lord, huh? So, what are you so curious about little old me for?
The other day, you and a handful of other whores attended the torturing of a slave, if you recall. I made you all watch as he died. But you didn't seem affected in the slightest.
Oh. Crap, I'm so sorry.
But what?
I wasn't sad enough, was I? A nice farm lady and the girl at the brothel taught me how to be sad and how to be angry. But if I'm not careful, I forget. I'm sorry for not being sad like I was supposed to.
As I said, you piqued my interest. Had you stopped and screamed like any other whore, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
What? So me not being sad wasn't bad?
That wasn't. That it wasn't.
Huh. No one's ever said that to me before.
I always thought you unusual, but I couldn't be certain about where you were without getting more personal. Which is why I brought you up here to test that theory. You don't fear death, do you, or...
Mm. Not just death. I never felt sad or scared about anything ever. I didn't even know sad or scared were things people felt at all until someone told me. But now I know all about them and how you're supposed to act when you feel them. I just don't know what they actually are.
Truly fascinating. Tell me more.
What do you want to know?
Let's see. Tell me your whole life story. Tell me everything. As far back as you remember.
Wow.
Huh?
No one's ever been this interested in me. This is super nice. Alrighty then, I'll tell you everything. Don't hesitate to conk out if you get bored. And ta-da, here I am. What'd you think? As boring as I thought it'd be?
Hardly. That was easily the most engrossing childhood story I've ever heard. Smiling as your parents are killed before your eyes. I'm hardly one to talk, but you're one thoroughly heartless girl.
I still wish I could do that over. I really loved my mom and dad. Nice farm lady taught me that you're supposed to be sad when people you love die.
That's why you want a do-over?
What?
You're incapable of experiencing sorrow, no? Feigning it for the occasion won't change the fact you don't actually feel sad about losing them.
I guess you're right. I can pretend, but I still don't know what it feels like. I don't understand why people are so afraid of death to begin with. I mean, pain isn't fun, I get that much. But if you don't let it bother you, then it's not that big of a deal. Oh, be right back, I'm sorry.
Okay, minor break then.
Was my cat audible when I talk?
It was a smidge, but you're fine now.
I actually didn't hear it. That could be just me, though.
Okay.
I heard a very
Because the
minor
mic didn't like.
in the background.
He was going crazy, like started going crazy the exact moment I started talking. But the mic didn't
Also-
like my talk. I guess I got lucky.
Also, man, I can't believe that Vada was wild for that one, having her be like, you should have a lot of stamina, and him just looking away with ellipses before the explanation of it's there for assassination purposes. My man is like, he isn't even good at evil torture sex. He just sucks. Just in general.
Kinda lame.
He probably does have a small dick.
Huh.
Barney or cock tiny.
He is? Maybe he is.
Also, why does it always look like he's holding an invisible wine glass?
Because he's supposed to be, and I didn't feel like making an additional sprite.
He would. He would constantly have his hand up, like he's holding an invisible wine glass.
Do you
He's
think he like?
Hello,
do you
I'm
think,
back.
do you think he would like swish around the invisible wine glass like it has like?
100%. Definitely.
Okay, let's get back to it then.
Plus, once you die, you get to go to heaven. So I don't get what there's to be so afraid of.
Not everyone goes to heaven.
Oh, that's right. But still, I'm sure there's plenty of fun things to do in hell.
Fascinating. You truly are twisted to your very soul.
Oh, but I do sometimes feel disappointed.
Do tell.
Like, I sometimes wish I could eat my mom's supper again. And I feel left out when everyone's talking about how weird I am.
Maybe sad. It's just
Okay.
like an even. Wait, is it?
Maybe sad is just like an even stronger version of that.
I get the impression that your entire experience of negative emotion is fundamentally distorted. So I don't know if you could even say that. I don't know if you could say that.
Mm,
Aaron,
I?
would you like to remain with me?
What?
Normally I send whores back from where they came from and I'm done with them. I'm offering you the chance to stay here with me.
Are you asking for my hand in marriage? What do I do? What do I do? Went from the whore to the Lord's wife in 3 seconds flat.
Oh. I would never even take a mere prostitute as a concubine.
Rat.
I am, however, fond of you, so I am offering you a place in my house.
So you're saying you actually want me around? Even knowing what kind of person I really am?
You could say that, yes.
Wow, no one's ever actually wanted me before.
As promised, Sharon, you have my full attention for the rest of the day.
Really?
Honestly, you shouldn't surprise me anymore how twisted you are. So far, in fact, you're the most sincere and honest person in the land, to a fault. You hardly even gave that man's life a second thought. The look on his face as he died was magnificent. You were a cruel girl.
I didn't do anything wrong, no matter what you say. I didn't steal anything. I didn't kill anyone. I try to stay out of everyone's way as much as possible.
So you actually have some concept of right and wrong. Which means you understand that I am a wicked man.
I was taught the difference, yes.
Fascinating. However, simply knowing the difference is of no use. If you don't feel the repulsion it's supposed to elicit. What? Knowing full well that I was acting maliciously, still you selfishly chose my affection, sentencing that man to death.
That's not what I guess you're right. I guess I did let him die for my own selfish desires. Looks like I still got a lot to learn.
No. No, you stay exactly the way you are. As I've said before, you don't need to put up a facade around me. Don't act sad if you're not sad. Don't act angry if you're not angry. Don't feign pity for someone you don't care about. Be you.
But everyone says
Your natural self neither disgusts nor disturbs me. In fact, I greatly prefer you that way. No matter how many slaves I kill and torture for my own entertainment, you never leave my side. You happily accept me no matter what I do. I would rather not lose that. Don't stand so far away. Sit down, beside me.
aye.
I've allowed you to stay here for a month now, and in that time you've been a constant source of entertainment. And you've expressed no desire to leave either, despite being well aware of what kind of man I am.
And the same goes for you, Barnier. You want me to stay even though I'm such a weirdo.
The difference between you and I, though, is that I kill and you do not.
You know, I've been wondering.
What?
Why do you like killing so much?
It would seem your perception of me is slightly inaccurate. It's not the act of killing I enjoy, but the look of dread and despair on a man's life but the look and dread of despair on a man's face as his life is ripped away.
There's a difference?
In your mind, perhaps not.
I'd kinda like to know what it's like in your mind then. I told you my story. Maybe you could tell me more about you, Barnier? Not that I blame you if you don't want to tell a prostitute like me.
You're not a prostitute anymore.
I'm not? Then, what am I?
You're my property.
Oh, that sounds super nice.
To answer your question, I was not always the man I am today. I had several brothers, though I was the eldest. As such, I was first in the line of succession. There should have been no question as to who was the rightful heir to the house. But my father, the previous lord, one of my brothers to succeed him instead. Without any reason to pass over me, though he would have faced significant opposition and put the family's reputation and legitimacy at risk. I was neither infirm nor mentally challenged, but rather extremely talented, which gave my father no leverage to deny me the throne. The one thing I lacked was sycophantry? Sycophantry. The one thing I lacked was sycophantry. Blah, blah. Seeing people trying to butter each other up made me physically sick. It seemed to me like the last kind of behavior royalty should be engaging in. I believe that merely possessing leadership ability should be sufficient for ruling effectively. But in this world, only those who can win others' favor make it anywhere. Only those who can make themselves look good and their peers like fools. Those who can claim others' achievements as their own, who can appear to have more power than they actually do. My father and brothers forsook me, making an attempt on my life. Because they could not legitimately remove me as their rightful heir, they could only kill me if they wanted their way. I was fortunate enough to survive the attempt, but I still carry the scar today.
The big one on your back?
That's right. You're surprisingly observant. I was in danger of not just losing lordship, but my life. I was left with 3 choices. To let them kill me, to flee and live in poverty, or to kill them first. I was born to rule, so in reality, I only ever had one choice. I murdered my father and all of my brothers, leaving me as the only one in line of succession. But becoming a lord did not immediately win me everyone's favor. Distant relatives crawled out of the woodwork to claim my throne as rightfully theirs. These people demanded I satisfy their every whim and fancy. And even my attendants tried to push their own agendas. The whole affair quickly grew tiring. Dozens were clamoring for a say in matters I could easily handle myself. So I silenced them. Before long, the prodding voices had become corpses. And it was somewhere around that time that I found myself intrigued by fear. Fear is a wonderful thing, an incredibly effective silencer that spreads like a plague. Sufficient application will preemptively stop everyone from interfering. Fear strips a man of all his will. When it became apparent to me that one did not have to be a great leader to rule effectively, all the time I'd spent in my younger days working to improve myself felt like an incredible waste. Fear became the centerpiece of my rule, and as I continue to employ it, I begin to derive great pleasure from the despair it instilled in others. Men trembled at the sight of me. They bowed their heads and abandoned their dignity. They begged me to spare their lives. And what an exquisite sight it was every single time. Enrapturing. You were born into your madness, Jaren, but I was molded into mine.
Huh. That's neat. But, Lord Vanier, wouldn't that make me a bad match for you? I'm not scared of you at all.
Man is a curious beast, you see. Once everyone's feared me, I then came to seek those who did not.
You sure are hard to please.
You make it sound like I'm merely a picky child. Though I suppose there's a little difference in your eyes. There were a number of others among the nobles who had, like me, strayed from the path. Hardly a surprise, given what a life as a noble is like. So I started throwing banquets, inviting those who would be interested. These parties serve two purposes. The first, obviously, being for my own amusement. The second, to find those with similar taste and bring them into my circle. I found little success with the latter, however, as my rather zealous attempts at recruitment, so I no longer waste the effort.
You weren't able to make any friends then?
No, I was not. The other nobles had no interest in getting their own hands dirty. They only wanted to watch, getting their titillation from a safe distance. Not a single one shared the same madness as me. Jaren,
I?
you are far better than any of them.
What? Uh, thanks?
What are you squirming about? I thought nothing bothered you.
I am capable of getting flustered, thank you.
There's something deeply wrong with you.
You're the one who decided to throw that curveball, Lord Barnier.
Enough with the formalities already. You're not a whore anymore. You're allowed to use my name.
Huh? That is your name, though.
You don't know your own lord's full name, do you, Jaren?
Um,
Answer the question, girl.
I'm sorry.
Allow me to help. I will only say this once, so don't forget it. My full name is Jean-Francois Barnier, firstborn son and rightful heir to the Barnier family.
Got it memorized. That's a really long name, though. I think I'll call you Franny. That rolls off the tongue nicer.
The hair did not pick up. You have to do it again.
Heh.
I assume I can take that cryptic chuckle as an okay?
Only if you wish to be hanged. Call me Francois.
I...
Jaren. Get up, Jaren.
What?
I swear you spend every moment you're not otherwise occupied sleeping.
I love sleeping.
I said, get up, you feeble-minded Nimrod!
Ow! You didn't have to hit me, yeesh. There are nicer ways to wake up a girl you know.
Be grateful I only hit you hard enough to wake you. I swear the church may have to redefine sloth if they ever met you.
This bed's so comfy, though.
You do realize the blood of dozens of women have seeped into every fiber.
Comfy's still comfy, though.
That wouldn't bother you, would it?
So, what's up, Francois? You need me for something?
Yes, I have a favor to ask of you.
Huh? A favor of me? What is it? I'll do anything.
Not even hearing what it is.
It doesn't matter what it is. You say the word and I'll do it, Francois.
And what if I asked you to take your own life right here?
Just give me the knife.
I should honestly be more used to this by now.
Why wouldn't I do anything for you, Francois? I love you. No one's ever cared for me like you before. No one's ever wanted me as much as you. And you're happy with me as I am, despite me missing all the most important pieces.
Again, I really shouldn't be so surprised. Fear not, I won't be asking you to die today.
How much harder is it going to be then? I hope you don't want me to kill anyone. It would be my first time, and I'm not sure if I could pull it off properly.
You're at the bottom of my list of prospective assassins. I doubt you could successfully smother a baby. Although, you could probably cause a great deal of death, I imagine.
Huh?
I would like to make you into a mole.
So you want me to dig holes?
In a sense. There's been a word of unrest building in the city of late. Money and resources gathered below the table. Murmurings of a resistance being organized.
So a bunch of baddies.
Precisely. Want you to go down the city and try to find as many baddies as you can and report them back to me. Can you do that?
I can try.
Excellent. A whorehouse would be the best place for you to start gathering information, I think. All I need you to do is deliver reports. Anything more involved would probably be the cause of that empty head of yours to burst.
Aye, aye. I just realized if I go into the city, I won't be able to see you as often, Francois.
Does that displease you?
A whole lot. Oh, I bet this is what being sad feels like.
In your twisted mind, perhaps so. How about this? I'll have a servant act as a regular client of yours. He'll pretend to be a well-off merchant. At regular intervals, he'll patronize the brothel, requesting your services and bring you back to his residence. He'll pay well enough, so I don't mind if you're gone for a few days, during which you can come back to the manor and see me. How does that sound?
Wee, I love it.
Next, we need to discuss how you present yourself. Although you're free to be yourself in my presence, you'll need to put on a suitable act down in the city.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Now I'm getting butterflies.
You spent years doing precisely that before you came here.
But I didn't have you counting on me to do a good job of it back then, Francois.
Allow me to offer you a piece of advice, then.
What? I'm all ears.
Really tell others about the misfortunes of your upbringing.
I don't think I had a bad childhood, though.
You may not, but others will. Your parents murdered as you watched. Taken captive by the men who did it. Tell people your story, but don't act overly dejected.
Huh? Why not? Won't people think there's something wrong if I'm not sad?
People will think it's more unusual if you get too dramatic because it's so far out of line with your regular disposition. Good acting is subtle, if not overdone.
Oh.
People will feel great pity for you when they hear of your past. And they'll see your exuberance as a sign that you fought and found the strength of will to move past your ill fortune. They'll be impressed, taken with you. So you needed to exaggerate your performance. Just give it a little bit of flavor. As long as you don't tell anyone those emotions are beyond your grasp, no one will have any reason to suspect otherwise.
Neato. I'm feeling a lot better about this now.
Expect you won't disappoint me.
Hey, boss. So, hey, Francois?
What is it?
What would you do if, hypothetically speaking, if when I go down into the city, I learn what sadness and fear feel like?
Kill you. Because I would have no longer. I would kill you. Because I would no longer have any interest in you.
Awesome. I'm just glad you didn't say you'd kick me out. Every girl dreams of being killed by the man she loves.
No. No, they do not. You want me to kill you?
If it comes down to it, I guess. Though, really, I'd rather be with you forever.
The room. Jiren, now!
Ow, ow, ow. You're gonna yank my arm off.
I wouldn't have if you would. I wouldn't have to if you would move!
Ugh.
Listen very carefully. If you stay in this room until everything is blown over, do not open the door for anyone.
But is this what I think it is?
You're only to leave the room if I tell you it's safe, or if the manor goes completely silent. If someone breaks down the door, tell them you're being held captive by the Lord. My predilections are well known among the people. No one will ever suspect you're lying. I must go now. Farewell, Jiren. I rather enjoyed our time together.
Wait, don't go! I got an idea, Francois. We could escape through that window over there. Tie up the sheets into a rope and climb down? Then we can go somewhere far away where nobody will find us.
And I have that liberty.
Well, why not?
Because I am the lord of this land. I was born to be a lord. I murdered my own family to keep my claim to this title. I will not abandon it until my final breath. I was a fool and a tyrant, neither a great leader nor a great man, but I still bear the responsibility of my role. Fleeing is not an option.
I never thought you were a tyrant.
The rest of my lordship would disagree with you. I use fear as a weapon of control, murdering slaves for fun, and prioritizing my own desires over the needs and lives of my people. Do you have a better word for what I am? Whereas you grasp the difference between good and evil, but lack the requisite emotion to give those concepts meaning. I knowingly chose to stray from the path of righteousness.
Didn't you say you could run things just fine with fear? That it was very effective?
Indeed, you can run things exceedingly well with fear. Though, I never said you could do so forever. I first saw the signs that people were turning against me 3 years ago. While I did what I could to crush the seeds of the revolt before they grew, it would seem that I missed a few.
If you knew this was coming, couldn't you have stopped it?
I have traveled so far down the wicked path, it would be nigh impossible for me to find my way back into the light. Which means all I can do is continue on and see what awaited me at the end. I can never play the benevolent role, though. Those people are inscrutable to me. They all appear to be either ravenous beasts or feeble-minded swine. Were I able to have any love for my people, perhaps things could have turned out differently.
I can't stay in here and wait, Francois. I want to be with...
You will do as I say, girl. What's gotten into you, Jiren? Death is supposed to be meaningless to you. Do not experience sorrow over loss.
But I...
Should I not come back? Go on, smiling. I think I'll simply let them walk in and kill me. I have dozens of skilled guards, and I can handle a sword myself as well. Far better than any mere peasant. They're getting closer. Now remember, you are not to leave this room. Understood? You are my property, and property does not defy the will of its master.
And what if I do come out?
Sharon, you will not be of any help to me out there. And should you obstruct me in any way, I will not hesitate to kill you. You do not have a choice. Is that clear?
Francois,
What? Time is running short.
I love you.
I will always place myself, Lord Jean-Francois Barnier, above anything else in the world. And you second.
Wait. Second? That's kinda super crazy wow, isn't it? Whoa. I'm shaking a bit here. I never felt this way before. Is this what being scared feels like? Huh. It's a lot worse than I imagined. It hurts real bad, like someone sitting on my chest. I can hardly even breathe right. But it's kind of really wonderful. No, I can't do this. I can't be away from him.
Who's voicing the old guy?
Oh shit, Josh, you were supposed to voice the old guy!
'Tis a great shame.
Noir,
what happened
you're
to
old
Junior.
Noir, you're voicing the guy counter to him, remember? You're Jacopo
Damn.
now!
This won't work.
'Tis a great
My throat
shame!
can't hold up.
'Tis a great
I guess
shame!
I could go
What
watch
happened to Geneva? Ginevra, fuck. Look, I don't have a character anymore.
It's a great shame what happened to Geneva. God.
You still have a character, actually.
Yeah.
You're also the subtitles now, Noir.
The post-revolution merrymaking continued into the wee hours of the morning. After things settled down and the men returned to city, an elderly man calling himself Odilon showed himself before me. Despite his evident age, the man stood tall and spoke in a clear, confident voice. Looking into his deep sapphire eyes, I felt as though I could see everything he had borne witness to in these walls engraved within them. Odilon revealed himself as an ally of the Revolution, and as having been in contact with Ginevra.
Had things proceeded as initially planned, she was to take power and build the land anew, with my assistance. But great change is never without cost. Nevertheless, I am unspeakably grateful for how swiftly you managed to dethrone the former lord. Without your heroic efforts, we would still...
Enough with the ass-kissing. Tell me who you are and what exactly you're hoping to get out of me.
No need to be so apprehensive, I assure you. I am more than happy to tell you everything you wish to know. I served as counsel to the late Lord Jean-Francois Barnier. It was I who aided the revolution from within the manor's walls, coordinating with Ginevra on the outside. Genova.
So that'd make you the one who ordered the gates opened for us, then?
Verily. Furthermore, I arranged to have a number of the guards turncoat.
Well, you did fine work. We would have lost a lot more men without your efforts. I have to ask, though, where were you while it was actually happening? I don't recall seeing you anywhere.
I took the liberty of finding myself shelter.
How fortunate for you to be able to kick back and watch, only to crawl out of your hole after we relieved the Lord of his head.
Might you, perchance, be suggesting this old bag of bones take up the blade? I would only serve as an impediment to your success. 30 years ago, mayhap, but hardly could I point a sword straight today. Or perhaps you would say that I, as a supporter of your cause, should have been present for the occasion regardless. But of little aid I would have been, merely dying a fool's death, becoming not another body upon which the living would trek.
You're skilled with your words, old man.
Magic, Missa. Of course. 'Tis my job. There is but one service I can provide you. My knowledge.
Knowledge? Meaning you intend to continue to serve as the Lord's consul?
For what other reason would I lend my hand to this revolution?
You expect me to just take your word, to trust you?
Surely you're aware that you cannot rightfully govern this territory without the acknowledgement of the neighboring counts and the king. I have knowledge and connections which have proven valuable in establishing you as legitimate and qualified to inherit the throne.
Yes, I know. I did not saunter into here blind. I still hadn't figured out how I would accomplish that, but... Wait, I recognize you from somewhere. I remember you were here during the revolt 3 years ago. You're the one who helped Barnier escape.
'Twas indeed I.
That's all the more reason not to trust you. You sat back and watched not a damn peep as that clown of a lord left his people to rot. Like hell I'm letting you be my consul.
You are an astute young man, but still far too green for your own good. And you fail to fully separate yourself from your old life.
Excuse me?
I assure you I was no more fond of Lord Barnier's predilections than you. But as I am sure you are aware, he was quick to send his opponent off to the gallows. And he would be no more merciful to his consul than a slum dweller. Why is Kinzo's voice easier to do than this? Jesus. My objections would have ensured but one thing. A swift, meaningless death. Moreover, you knew it was not yet the time and stayed your hand. Nay. I too had reached the same conclusion, and was awaiting the appropriate time. The perfect time to rearrange the board.
Yeah.
You must dispense of the childish emotion that controls you. Act exclusively in service of that which most benefits you, and you cannot do so without someone to guide you. You are still merely a fledgling young man. You know not up from down in this vast new world, and you have neither an army nor the weapons with which to defend yourself. Should you go out into that world unaccomplished, it will snap your neck before you feel the hands upon your skin.
And what benefits are you hoping to reap from this? You're not acting out of a love for the people, that much is obvious.
A chance to fulfill my duties as consul to the Lord. My expertise went largely unused under Lord Barnier's rule. It was a deeply frustrating time for me. Though if I may be blunt, perhaps I should say that I would like to die knowing I have accomplished something worthwhile with my life. I can promise you I have no intentions of mistreating the people for my own personal amusement.
You've still given me no reason to actually trust you.
Allow my work to speak for my words. Allow me to proffer unto you my knowledge, that it might be of service to you.
I don't completely trust this man, nor do I think I ever will. He's after something. Probably wants to use me as a puppet under the guise of assisting me as my consul. He makes a good point, though. I'll need someone to show me the ropes if I want any chance of governing effectively.
Have you come to a decision?
Okay. It's a pleasure to have you, Odilon.
So Delion, probably. At your service.
That said, try anything and you'll be out the door faster than you can blink.
Understood.
Good.
Now if I may, I would like to offer my first instruction.
And what would that be?
You will need to make a formal proclamation of your succession. There are still many among your people who know not who you are. Thus you must declare yourself the rightful heir, the lost son of Lord Barnier's predecessor. You must assume a new name.
Say again.
The name by which you were known before is nothing but a veil behind which you guarded your noble identity. And the time has come now for you to proclaim your true self.
Hold on a second. I'm not...
Yes, I am aware of your lineage.
Okay, then what name do you suppose I should take?
You shall assume his name. Jean-Francois Barnier.
Is this some kind of sick joke? You're insane if you think I'm taking on that psychopathic killer's name. Why on this green earth would I ever want to call myself after the man I dethroned?
Among the nobility, names are oft passed on, from father to son, from brother to brother.
But why his name? A name associated with fear and tyranny. Are you trying to hobble me before I take my first step?
You will remove the stain his deeds have left upon the name. Lord Barnier killed his father, brothers, and all of their families in attendance, as Ginevra likely told you. Why do you suppose he killed them?
Are you mocking me, old man? He killed them because he was a damned madman.
Lord Barnier was not the rightful heir.
Excuse me.
He was merely a stand-in, to be disposed of and quietly replaced when came the time. However, he grew voracious for power, fixated on becoming the Lord himself. So he killed everyone who stood in his way, both the Barnier family and the attendants who knew the truth. Though he failed to realize that the Lord had sired another son, you, the rightful inheritor of Jean-Francois Barnier's name.
So that's our story, huh? I'm not the fake, he was.
When the truth is revealed, the people will be enraptured, and crucially, the damage to the Barnier family name will be minimized. After all, the Barniers are but victims of the charlatan's avarice. As you are to take on the Barnier family name, it is your benefit that the reputation you inherit is as unblemished as possible. Furthermore, you have nothing to gain from keeping your present name. No longer are you the man you were in the slums. You must become a new man entirely.
Enough. I need time to think. A day. Give me just one.
I cannot. 'Tis a matter of the utmost importance. You must act swiftly, for the opportunity will pass and the tides soon turn against you anon. The people are on your side for now. However, should you fail to expeditiously demonstrate that you are there as their new lord, are likewise on their side, you will find yourself with more than the Count upon your doorstep. Count. You must decide now. Sir.
Alright. I'll swallow my pride. I knew there would need to be some changes before I embarked on this road. So this isn't unexpected, just moving quicker than I was prepared for.
A wise decision. Now, before we move on to the next order of business, I must ask, are you physically well enough to remain on your feet for a short while longer? You will need to stand before your people and make a speech. Nevertheless, it is evident that you are wounded from your battle, and 'twould reflect poorly on your accomplishments were you to collapse during your first appearance.
I'll be fine. I can hold myself up long enough to give a speech.
Oh ho ho, youth. What a wonderful thing. You must be sure to get your rest once you are finished. I will arrange for the best doctor to come examine you.
Appreciated.
Now then, let us be off. You need merely repeat after me. Squalala, we are off.
Random man.
Hey, did you hear the new Lord's speech? Barnier was a fraud this entire time.
What? No way!
Oh, yeah, you go.
By God, I should have skipped work and gone up to the manor to see it.
You still get a chance, go down to the square. The town crier is spreading the word of the whole thing.
Did you hear? The new lord led the charge on the revolution. And he was the real Jean-Francois Barnier.
I heard. I was there for his speech. He's so young.
And easy on the eyes to boot. They say he spent his years living in the slums, hiding his true identity. That must have been so difficult for him.
Is this like a is this like an actual crowd just like saying it all at once?
They are celebrating the streets at the end
No,
of
it's
episode
crowd.
6.
It's
all right, you know what?
Crown
Sure, it's
Johnson.
funny if we all just say it at once.
Crowd.
At long last, we're free from our suffering. Free from the terror of Lord Barnier. Cheers for the new Lord.
I like,
Hip hip hooray!
watch this be Maria. She's like, calm down, crowd, and it just cuts down to like Crowd Johnson, and that's his first name.
Kid named Crowd.
Excuse me, my son is also named Crowd.
Second name, Joe.
Anyways.
Crowd Joe
Oh,
Johnson.
give me a break. You don't dumb lord.
How goes it, Maria? You look like you ain't slept in weeks. Where'd you smile, girl? Today's a day for celebrating.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
What?
You're the one who pushed him into this.
Huh? What you getting pissy about?
You pressured him into this dumbest revolution into becoming the fucking lord.
Oh, whoa, that ain't what happened at all. Jacopo's the one who proposed the whole thing.
Bullshit. He was trying to talk sense into you at the Midsummer Festival.
Yeah, for the love of cripes, who crawled up your ass and died? The batshit asshole's gone, and now we got someone on our side in power. What's there to complain about?
Is there anything in that meathead of yours?
What was that?
You realize he can never come back now, right? He's the Lord. He's gone, and he's gone for good. Up there in his manor, all by himself. And you dragged him up to the top of that hill and left him there.
I get that you want someone to take this out on, but Jacopo's also the one who proposed becoming the Lord.
No.
I didn't push a damn thing on him. He showed up one day with a ring bearing the Barnier family crest. And told everyone it was royalty and had a claim to the throne.
It's insane.
It was his words that sparked the revolution.
There's no way. Jacopo is royalty? You need to get a better sense of humor.
I thought exactly at first too, but then I saw the crest on the ring. It's the real deal. Did you miss the whole part where he put the ring on in front of everyone before we stormed the manor? His whole spiel about being the heir. Oh, it's pretty damn convincing if I do say so myself.
You seriously think I was there for some stupid pep talk?
Ain't you his friend? I feel like a friend should be rooting for his success, you know? That's what I'm doing. I could say that much. Anyway, I got a hot date with a couple of kegs, so I'm out of here. Unless you want to come with? We're gonna be partying all night long.
Like hell I'm coming.
Just thought I'd ask. Try not to look so sour all the time, Kay. You're much prettier when you're smiling.
You're gonna dig, asshole.
Duly noted. Later.
I do it for him because he's my friend. I know better than anyone. He's in over his head. All I can do is pray for you, Jacopo. Pray that you'll always be the Jacopo we know. That this won't change you. We're still friends, right? Even if we're worlds apart now.
After giving me just enough time to recover, Odilon quickly got to work here, instructing me in everything I needed to know to be a lord.
We only got like 9 minutes left. Might be a good point to just kind of wrap up for now.
He told me we only had 9 minutes left, so we're wrapping things up.
My lord, we need to have adequate time for this next scene, so I'm afraid we're going to be wrapping up for now. Oh, my throat!
We gotta do it right now! I don't care if you got stabbed, but we might need to save it for next time.
Oh, my sciatica!
Alright, cool. So yeah, that was the interludes, and the bonus scene about how much it sucks to not have emotions, I guess?
The moral of that story is, why fix them when I'm worse?
Yeah, what up with that?
I feel like there were a couple moments where he was like, "No, I really want to be doing this," and she's like, "Nah." It's like, okay.
I can't believe that Jaren psychologically cannot not suck.
She is the antimatter of feelings.
So do we have any, like, real big, like, discussion points? Or do you guys just want to give, like, general impressions on what's going on?
Society's unfortunate.
Man, I wonder how Jacopo's gonna progress as a character through this, and develop into a different person.
Now I wonder what's gonna happen to Gratian. Will he die horribly, or will he like just be written off out of the story, or would he just be implied to have died from consensual sex?
Probably die horribly.
I do have a thought. I'm not sure if we are going in order.
I don't have anything.
Shellsworth, do you got anything? I should probably go to the chat to see if he's typing. Alright, he's not saying anything. Alright, my thoughts. Do you guys think this old man, will in some way be a traitor? Or possibly be working towards his own ends?
He's probably a
Almost
manipulator.
certainly.
Do you think he will have the evil vizier trope?
I think he's definitely an evil vizier. I'm getting a lot of vizirial vibes off this guy. He looks like he has a case of vizirial disease.
He has Jafar feelings.
I don't like that. I don't trust him.
He has Jafar feelings.
I feel like he's also just kind of like writ large, or writ small, I suppose, a metaphor for Jacopo having to become this different person and this person of power, and he's sort of like the underline to all of that, because he's like the guy who has to make it happen.
Jacopo is not. Jacopo is still not at the
He's like
stage.
Tom Hanks in the movie Elvis.
And for me, like Jacopo does not still does not seem like the sort of guy who would do what he did. So I guess someone else is gonna make him do that, or convince him.
He's either gonna convince them or be like, "Yeah, I'm totally convincing you, and not secretly doing this anyway behind your back."
No, Jacopo knew. It's not like Jacopo didn't know.
He was like there.
Jacopo was down with it by the time that main story takes place.
It wasn't down with like her getting tortured, right? Well, actually, yeah, he was.
The old guy might be the reason.
So I have
Probably.
found here, there is apparently a Saint Odilo of Cluny, who was the Benedictine abbot of Cluny, during what is essentially now in 1049 AD.
In
Oh.
France?
Who is this? Like,
And
You
oh
mean
yeah,
this is-
and
this-
in medieval France, no less. Yes.
You mean this is
It
the real
has
ass
to be
guy?
He's also descended from an illustrious noble family.
Yeah, that
Wait.
makes sense.
Wait, who is?
This guy.
Oh, the old guy.
Saint Odilo of Clury. Sorry, Cluny.
Yeah, it's of the George Clooney clan.
God.
I would not be surprised if he was also a Bolognier.
Yeah, I'm not surprised either. That would be hilarious.
All right, next person, Robert. You got anything?
He also invented All Souls Day, which was pretty cool.
I don't
Ooh,
have
Halloween.
Rindo.
Man, society sucks. It's unfortunate that there is no real place for people like Jaren. It's truly
Call it a
unfortunate.
psychiatric hospital, but those didn't exist.
I mean, it's a bit too early for that, yeah.
And those weren't
If only
great
they had
until
better
recently.
mental health care in 1049 AD.
If only.
There was
I mean, you
never
say that
one
as
there.
you say that as we fucking figured it out by now.
Look, it's
People
called
are still-
Jesus and a lot of guilt.
People are still suffering from this shit nowadays.
You tried simply praying harder.
Try
True.
Have you
Try
tried
praying
just
harder.
drilling
Yeah,
a
we're sure
hole
it
in
doesn't come back in
yourself?
horrible ways.
Thankful, if for better or worse, Jaren at least predates that practice by a tiny bit.
Have you tried binge drinking?
Maybe when Jaren, maybe if Jaren drinks enough, she can feel sad. Maybe. Who knows?
To find
don't
out
know if you would.
Sharon's an
No.
emotional
She did,
drunk,
she
and you
did.
just never found out 'cause she never got drunk.
She did get drunk, didn't she? I don't
Did
remember.
she? I don't remember. She might have.
Did they drink during the festival? I don't remember during a
Oh,
party.
yeah, probably.
I think she got drunk like once and almost hit on Jacopo, but it didn't go anywhere.
So it just
You mean she
amplified her
she
feelings.
almost hit on Barnier? Get it? Do you get the symbolism?
You know what? I didn't. That's a good test.
I like this Rindy Fenica laugh.
That was
Cynical.
Wait, what? Huh?
It sounded like Fenica.
You befuddled orange.
I mean, I was the one doing the laugh.
Yeah.
That was a very good Fenica laugh, Orange.
Thank you. I tried my best.
Alright, next person. We're just. You
I'm
up?
sorry. Okay. Anybody have anything else that's
Never.
meaningful to say?
Yeah, just raise your hand.
Hey, I had my hand raised.
Alright,
Alright,
alright, what do you
you
got to say?
This is very what I call Shakespearean tragedy, in the sense that you didn't care for the person, but you go like, oh yeah,
Shak-
this person sucks, but yeah, this person has.
Shakespearean.
I like shake triangle. I don't know.
Three
More
dots
like
to
Shakespeare some.
Squarical.
make- Three
Quadrilateral.
dots to make a
Clerical.
rectangle.
Yeah,
Turnless
but it does
Langles.
take place in that time period where he would make stories like this, that or somewhere around
Brett.
that time period.
I think
Orange,
we
are
should
you
all
trying to pull off a
Shakespeare.
triangle wangle?
Of course.
I think
Triangle
I think we should all Shakespeareally imbreviate.
That's not a
That
word.
was worse.
When will flat earthers realize that the earth is a Shakespeare?
A noble spirit embiggens the smallest man.
Okay. Well, I think if we're done abbreviating, probably a good time to wrap up. Alrighty then. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Shake your spears.
Go tonight.